The world is full of noise, and all too often, that noise attempts to drown out the message of hope that moms so desperately need to hear.
It is our calling to help you reach this level of freedom, to understand who you were created to be, and to walk fully in your purpose. From daily routines to slaying giants, we're going to talk about things that matter, help you find a balance that works for you, and tackle mindsets that hold you back.
We craft each episode to speak to a specific challenge in motherhood, leaving you feeling inspired and equipped with tools to make changes that will propel you on the path to your calling. We are about purpose, identity, and freedom. I'm Dr. Baylis.
And I'm Jackie Bailey, and this is Point of Decision.
Well, welcome to Real Talk. Our topic of the month is physical fitness. It's so important to take care of ourselves physically. And so we just want to speak to some of the things that we've been doing and the things that the Lord's been showing us in regards to fitness. We've had a few interviews this month with some amazing experts on physical fitness. And so I'm ready to implement some of those things.
You and me both.
Right? So we are going to start with the scripture that is motivating me right now. Is it motivating you?
Heck yes.
Yeah, because the Proverbs 31 wife, who can find a virtuous wife? Her worth is far above rubies, and I want my worth to be far above rubies in God's eyes.
Me too.
So I was studying this passage, and the Lord was just downloading new things. This passage is probably one of the most studied passages in all of Proverbs for women.
Right.
For good reason. And some of the things that I've heard about this is no woman could actually live up to those expectations. It's actually a collection of many women. But as I was praying through it, God said, by my spirit, you can live up to these expectations. And it's just a guideline for us to strive to. It doesn't mean we have to be perfect. But the thing about this one that is really standing out right now is Proverbs 31:17. She girds herself with strength and she strengthens her arms. So that's just a little bit out of it that we're just pulling and dropping into our spirits to help to look at God's best for us. When I noticed that in this scripture, it really resonated with me because a few years ago, right after Chris and I got married, we went to the lake. My whole family goes there for the 4th of July and maybe sometimes the week after. And we spend the whole week on the lake skiing, tubing, and all this amazing fun stuff. Well, this particular week, I was so excited to show off to my brand new husband my water skiing abilities.
You go, girl.
And so I don my life jacket. I throw my ski out in the water. My professional ski, by the way.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's an
Look
O'Brien. If you know water skis, O'Brien's like the ski to have. So I throw my water ski out into the lake and I jump in and I grab on the rope and I tell them, pull the slack. They start pulling the slack a little bit. And as soon as I get my ski ready, I get my balance going, I'm holding onto the rope. The boat goes and the rope just like snatches out of my hand. And I didn't go anywhere. I was like, okay, first ski of the summer. We're going to be okay.
Right.
Boat comes around and brings me back the rope again, and I'm grabbing onto the rope and I'm going, okay, I'm ready, and pulls again. So barely making the weight come up, and I'm starting to pull, and then my arms start shaking and rope just pulls out of my hands again. And I'm like, what is going on? Because I've been skiing since I was 9.
Right.
And here I am just losing strength. And I think I tried one more time. And then I was like, well, throw me another ski, because obviously I can't get up on one right now because I don't have the strength. So they throw me another ski, and I haven't skied on 2 in years.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's more fun to ski on one. And once you know how to do it, you don't go back.
Go back. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like snowboarding and skiing.
Yeah. So I get the 2 skis and I'm holding on, and I've never not gotten up on 2 skis since I was 13 years old, maybe. And so I'm sitting there ready. My husband's going to see me ski. Couldn't get up. And I got so mad. I just cried because my strength had completely left my body.
Oh.
And it was after the first bout of being sick with my thyroid and having the Epstein-Barr virus like super flared up in my body. But I was getting my strength back at that point. I thought I was better. but it wasn't enough. My muscle had atrophied too much. And I was so disappointed. So my goal ever since then has been to ski again, because my husband, now of 4 years almost, has still not seen me ski. But 2 babies later, I haven't even tried. So I just feel like it's so important to even have fun.
Yes.
It's just so important to take care of our strength. It's not about what weight we are. Not really. It's about how we operate and how we're strong. The scripture says that she strengthens herself.
Right.
Her arms are strong, because we have to be strong to take care of our kids, right?
Absolutely. Well, gird means to prepare oneself for action.
See?
Right.
So good.
So here's the thing too, is we're living in some uncertain times. We have been for a while, but now more so than ever.
Right.
And if something happens where power grids go out, i.e. what just happened with Texas.
Yep.
And so what are you going to do? Like, as a mother, you need to pack your kids up, you need to go somewhere else. But what if you need to stay home? And what if you need to like actually take action and be ready and prepared to take action? What if that means like lifting heavy equipment or getting a generator going or even just figuring out how you're going to get food in a winter storm?
Yeah.
There's lines and lines and lines of people waiting to get into a grocery store and standing there holding your baby for 2 hours. If you're not girding yourself up with strength, that could be next to impossible.
Right. And just think about the practical day to day of having a new baby and a toddler.
Exactly.
Or, as your kids get older, we have to be able to pick them up, hold them, love them. When Ezra was 3 months old, I think he was about 3 months old, and maybe 4 months old, I had started my gym routine again, and I was going back to the gym. I was really excited, and I started pushing him in the stroller several days a week to get my walk in, and I started getting stronger, and I was feeling better, and I started running. So I was like, this couch to 5K thing, I'm going to start running a little bit again. And then the weather started to change, and I felt this, I don't even know, tightening, and it pulled my neck so out of place. And I had just gotten back into my gym routine, and my neck was so pulled out of place that I was bedridden for a week. I couldn't even roll over in the bed. I had to have someone bring him to me to nurse him, and someone to get him to play. And I was stuck in the bed with a neck issue. And I kept thinking to myself, if only I had taken it slower, if only I had been consistently strengthening myself the best way I could, even when going through physical difficulties, for my neck to be out like that. There's so many things wrong with this kind of pain that it stops you from life. And so if we gird ourselves with strength, we're preparing against our muscles being weak enough to pull our spine so out of whack that we can't move.
Right.
With a neck issue.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just some of the things. But the thing lately I've been really looking at is whether my gym time or whether my physical activity time is even a negotiable.
Right.
Because how often do we look at that as a negotiable thing? Because whether we think it is or not, we're putting other things as a priority above it. And we think we're doing our family good by maybe not prioritizing that time, because it takes me 2 hours out of my day to go to the gym, work out for an hour, and come home. But there's so many things good about it.
Well, and you've committed to yourself that you're going to wake up early, which is another part of Proverbs 31.
Yes.
That she rises before the sun.
Right.
And, prepares. It says that she prepares meals. And I know that you prepare freezer meals all the time. So you're ahead of the game. But I don't think the Proverbs 31 women had freezers back then. But
probably not.
But you're preparing yourself and you're girding yourself up with that strength before your family rises, and they might rise before you get back, but you're committing to rise earlier than maybe your flesh wants to get up.
Yeah.
So that you can make sure that you're, strengthening your body, getting that physical fitness time, but also that mental clarity time with the Lord, and a time for you to be able to just have some self-care.
Yeah.
Which is so, so important.
It's so important. And in this season, it has so become a non-negotiable, because even the drive there and the drive home has become intentional time for me. And so I spend time in worship at the gym while I'm exercising. And then I take a few minutes to get on the water massage table, and I do soaking worship while I'm doing that. And if I was to do that at home, I would hear everything going around me. But there I get an actual 10 minutes of just let this machine massage me. Like, that's the ultimate self-care, right?
Right.
I remember our conversation not too long ago about it's not a strong enough reason for me to lose weight to get to the gym and get up that early.
Right.
Instead, my why has become so big that I'm hardly tempted to stay in bed and not go.
Right.
And there's been some challenges to that lately.
Right.
You know, we're recording this in February. You know, it won't be released until April, but right now in February, there's a big ice storm going on. And so I was ready to get up and go to the gym, and I looked outside and the roads were so icy and it had started to snow, and we live in Mississippi. So the roads are they're just not prepared for conditions like that. Not that I can't drive in it in some ways, but you can't drive on the ice like that. And especially if you don't have ice machines or preparedness of the city itself. But I prayed about it and I felt from the Lord to stay home. And I was disappointed. But one day when I did make an intentional decision to stay home and sleep because I felt like I needed more sleep, I regretted it. And my husband goes, "You're not going to go down the black hole of regret. You're just going to pick yourself up and you're going to do it again tomorrow."
Right.
And I said, "You're right. You're right. We're going to do that." So these last 3 days of the ice storm, I haven't been able to go. But yesterday we had some exercise in the middle of the day.
Yes,
That was pretty fun.
Did. It was so much fun.
So,
Yeah.
but taking that self-care time has made my why so big that physical fitness being a non-negotiable, it just makes sense.
Right. I can totally relate. When I ended up in the wheelchair back in July, I realized very quickly that my upper body strength was not present.
And it's so important. I've been watching you all week, just like, this girl's amazing. Like, getting in and out of the car, I'm like, "Do you want me to lift you?" She's like, "I got this." I've girded myself with strength and I've strengthened my arms.
Right? I have, and it's been such a painfully long process, but especially because I grew up my entire life being extremely athletic, and I played every sport there was in every season. Like, I just loved being active, and it wasn't even the love of necessarily all of the sports, but it was the love of being active.
Oh, yeah.
And competitive.
Yes.
My personality type is just very competitive, and I would find fulfillment and pleasure in having that outlet. I've also had a baby, and my workout was carrying her around. Right?
It's true, though.
And so she was 2, and I wasn't getting to the gym and wasn't working out really, but I've always considered myself a strong, physically active person even during that time. But you realize that your upper body strength is so important. And if I had have been girding myself and working out on a regular basis, the transition wouldn't have been so difficult. But when I started going to the gym, which was almost immediately after I got out of the hospital, I was like, I need to do this thing. Yeah. Like, I am going to recover, and I'm going to walk again, and I'm going to do whatever it takes. And this is my new challenge. This is my new competitiveness with myself.
Right?
Right. So I get into the gym, and my trainer that my husband found by divine appointment had helped over 400 people recover from multiple sclerosis and spinal cord injuries in Southern California over 20 years. And he just so happened to be relocated to a mile away from where we were staying at that point.
That's incredible.
Right?
Yeah.
His name is Dan Judge. Go look him up. He's amazing. And he's kind of a little bit of a superstar because he was a bodybuilder for a very long time. But he knew how far to push me, and he knew how to build my strength up, where I wanted to get into the gym, kind of like you were saying, you kind of pushed yourself a little too hard. I wanted to get in the gym and start doing what I had done before.
Exactly.
And kind of like pick up where I left off.
It's what I try to do every time, and I end up hurt. I'm like,
right?
Oh,
I know we had this conversation because your shoulder's been hurting, but you get into the gym and he's giving me these weights, and I'm like looking at him like he has 3 heads. I'm like, no, I want to get strong now. I don't want to build up. I want to do it weight now, right? Are you really gonna hand me those weights? 5-pound weights I thought were just absolutely ridiculous, and here he is handing me these like small weights even like the 3 pounds and the 5 pounds and 8 pounds, I was even like, what the heck? Like, but I also realized very quickly that he knew what he was talking about and how important it is to know your body, which I had lost touch with.
Yes.
And how important it was not to push yourself too hard too fast, but to start small and build up. I ended up just following what his instructions were, doing the things that he was telling me to do. And I realized very quickly that I was actually feeling, the burn of recovery just from those little things, but I wasn't injuring myself.
Which is so important.
In the past, when I would have stints where I wouldn't go to the gym for quite a while and try and pick up where I left off, I would get injured and then I would stop going to the gym because of the injury.
Yep.
And it was this vicious cycle. Yep. And I would just kind of not go anymore because I injured myself last time. I'd be off for however many weeks trying to recover. And then I just didn't have the ambition to go for quite a while.
Right.
And then I would try and pick it up and do the same thing and I'd injure myself again. And it's just so ridiculous that you do that. But I learned so much during this time, girding myself up with strength and building my arm strength up to the point where now I can pull myself up to standing. And that was so difficult to do. The first time when I tried pulling myself up to a standing position was like pulling teeth. And it took quite a few tries until I could do it. And it took a lot of assistance too until I could do it myself. And now I can do it all by myself. Now I can get myself in and out of cars. I can fall out of my wheelchair
and get back in it
and get back in it by myself without having to call for help. Whereas before it would have been a big ordeal and it would have been a major ordeal with having to have at least 1 to 2 people help me back in my wheelchair. But now I can do it myself because I've worked on my triceps, I've worked on my biceps, and I've worked on even my wrists.
Yeah, we forget those little things sometimes.
Right? And when I'm not in the gym, my body's screaming, my mind is screaming, and currently I'm looking for a gym that's open.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I wanted to speak to you really quick. You said that you had gotten out of touch with your body. And to that effect, we do sometimes get out of touch with our body, but also our bodies change.
Right.
So if we don't stay in touch with our bodies, every baby, our body is different now. So like we have to be reintroduced.
Right.
And when you got into the wheelchair, it was a whole nother situation. So you had to be reintroduced to your body.
Right.
After having 2 babies in a row, I had to be reintroduced to my body. And so the other day I was at the gym and I made an appointment with the trainer just to kind of test it out and see what it was like. And the trainer, he had my best interest at heart. But he's a single guy in his 30s, has no idea what it is like to be a woman just turned 40 and have 4 babies and
postpartum
4 months.
Yeah, right.
4 months postpartum. And he wanted me to do jumping jacks. I was like, I might pee on myself. I'm only 4 months postpartum. I don't have the strength.
Oh,
a man's going to have no idea what it's like to do. 10 jumping jacks versus he wanted me to do 50. I made it through it and I didn't pee on myself, but I had to be really focused and I had to take breaks.
Men in general don't understand that. And they don't understand pelvic floor stuff like women do and have to learn about. And just FYI, if you haven't studied anything about pelvic floor and you're a woman, please go study about it and start doing the proper exercises you need to build that up too.
Yeah, it even affects your singing. Did you know that?
Wow.
I learned that because I'm taking vocal and my coach was talking about how important it is to use your pelvic floor muscles when you're pushing power through your voice because it can save your vocal cords in the future.
Wow.
I was like, what? No wonder I feel so weak in my singing while I've just had 2 babies.
Postpartum,
I had no
right.
idea. I just thought, what's wrong with my voice? And so that was really interesting. But this guy, good intentions aside, he's like, well, your health age is like 53 and I can get you down to a 46. And I'm like, and that number's what? How's that number even make any sense?
How is that inspiring you in any way either? Because you just turned 40. So
yeah,
getting you down to 46 is not ideal.
It's not, but it doesn't even take in like my weight right now, the BMI chart, all of that stuff. Well, it doesn't even take into account postpartum for your health age.
Or dealing with thyroid issues that are real.
They're definitely real. But he said, if you could just get these meals, I suggest you take these meals and eat the same thing every day. And that's how you're going to have the biggest success. And I'm like, I'm feeding a family of 5. It's so easy to eat the same thing every day when you're feeding only you, but not when you have a family of 5. So let's talk about something practical, guy.
I'm sitting over here shaking my head and rolling my eyes at this dude who thinks that any woman with a family could sit down and eat the same thing every day.
Yeah, and then plus I'm making snacks for them, and they don't want my carrot sticks and celery.
No.
I don't want my carrot sticks and celery.
No. Not every day.
No, not every day. I can do it sometimes.
But that's a sure way to fall off any sort of meal plan, is when it's not interesting, when it's not getting switched up. There's no variety. Unless you're of the personality type where you do enjoy eating the same thing every day. For every other personality type, it's just not even reasonable to suggest.
Right. He must have been that personality type. But he was nice enough. And then I called David Hernandez, who was in our podcast last week, right? to train me, and he's good with the women thing. So he had compassion. He said, if I could just take every trainer and tell them these are the things you don't say to a woman who's just had a baby.
Right.
I'm like, thank you.
Or even a woman in general, but definitely not a woman who just had a baby.
Exactly. When he saw my BMI number, he goes, oh gosh, we need to get that down.
OMG. I'm so glad that you can laugh about it because you let things roll off your back. But some women, this would send them into deep depression, shame, anxiety, and a bunch of other awful feelings.
It didn't feel good, but I did look at the number and I'm like, oh man, I've never had that number. But it's a number. It's a number.
It's not something that you have to focus on and deal with, because that's not the number that you need to be focusing on. You need to be focusing on how you want to feel.
Exactly. And the BMI or the body fat percentage, that's not my why.
No.
My why is to be a sane, good, strong mom.
Right.
Sane.
Right.
Strong.
Right.
I want to be able to pick up my baby and not hurt my neck. And I want to be able to go water skiing and help. If you needed me to, I want to be able to put you in the car.
Right. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much. But I got you, girl. I got you.
You do, because you've strengthened your arms. I'm so impressed. I've been so impressed.
It's so funny, though. Someone was like, show me your guns. And I was just like, okay, wait just a second. Because women's muscles generally are long and they're lean, and they're not the same as men's. Like, I'm not gonna just pop up a bicep muscle that looks like anything noticeable.
Look at that gun.
That's pretty awesome, but my muscles have never ever like given any like real bump. She's got a bump going on. She has been strengthening her arms. Okay, so maybe I might be an anomaly. Maybe some women do have some bumps going on in their arms. I have seen it, but
as long as it's not cellulite bumps.
Right? Those are called dimples, not bumps. Cellulite dimples. But yeah, my biceps are just long and lean. They don't look anything extraordinary. I'm gonna show Leslie right now so she can see it. They just don't look extraordinary.
I think those are guns.
No, they're not.
I think you're pretty strong.
I am strong, but they don't look like anything awesome. They're not popping up like Popeye over here. And I eat my spinach, girlfriend. That does not look. Your guns look way bigger than mine. Like guns. The muscle right here is way bigger.
Well,
Like in a good way.
In my younger days, I used to bodybuild.
Okay, well then that explains it all. But
I haven't done that in quite a while.
But there's muscle memory that comes back very quickly.
Isn't that true? Isn't that great?
Yes.
It's the best thing ever.
Wow.
I like muscle memory.
I'm trying to imagine you in one of those bodybuilder bikinis, like all ripped out. I need to see them. What the heck? I am kind of like over here in La La Land trying to picture Leslie ripped as a bodybuilder in one of those little bikinis. I can see it now.
I never wore one of those. No, you know what happened when I got to like the prime of fitness? Take a guess.
You got pregnant.
I did. Both times.
Babies. This is what we said yesterday. We're
like, amazing. They're amazing, and
they bring so many wonderful life changes, body changes.
So I went into the military, and I was running and doing push-ups, and I was like in the best shape of my life after basic training, and I was kickboxing my senior year of high school.
Jealous. I love kickboxing.
I know, I love it. So in high school, I was a kickboxer, and then I went into the military and strengthened some more and came back and did some more kickboxing. And I said, the girl was like, what do y'all want to work on today? And I was like, my abs, no matter what I do, they won't go down. And I found out the next weekend I was pregnant with my oldest. So then she's born, and then I get my body back into shape. I start to bodybuild. I'm getting ready for some fitness competitions, but then I decide not to do fitness competitions because I can't do a back handspring. I'm not a gymnast.
Who would want to do back handsprings anyways?
Oh, I wish I could.
But why?
It just looks so fun. And Alexia was a gymnast, my oldest. She was a gymnast for years, and she had a great, beautiful back handspring.
I like watching it happen for other people, but I have no desire to do it personally myself.
Yeah, I don't have any desire anymore. I did it one time, but I don't anymore. Hey. But as soon as I started getting I was right there. I was like, yeah, baby number 2.
Of course. And then comes Kaden.
That's right. But then that's where we have to really stop looking back at where we were and start looking at who we're becoming.
Right.
Because we're never going to be that girl.
No.
We don't want to be.
Heck
we don't want to be back where we were. Mm-mm. We want to be who we're called to be and who we're created to be.
I want all the knowledge and wisdom that I've gained over the years, and I want a better body than what I had back then.
Yeah.
Just saying.
That wasn't the point.
What's the point?
The point is
your good godly point.
My good godly point.
Not that I took it to.
but I wanna have an 18-year-old body and a 40-year-old woman's body.
No,
and you're not even 40 yet.
No, I don't even want an 18-year-old's body because I like the hips. I like the
post-baby body.
The post-baby body, because I was one of those girls that I didn't have the voluptuous, lovely body when I was young. I was athletic and I have a very long torso. And so, yes, I had boobs, but I squashed them in a sports bra. I had this straight body that with no bum, no bum. Thank you, Mom, if you're listening.
That's hilarious because I'm all butt.
I know. I've said to you, can you just give me some of that, girlfriend? Come on, you can trade or share.
I had all of that. I've had all that my whole life.
See, you had the voluptuous.
I did.
Perfect 18-year-old body.
No, I didn't. I didn't. I was a little on the heavier side.
Okay, well, regardless.
But it was definitely voluptuous, right?
Share some of that booty, girl.
Had a lot of booty.
Now
I'm nothing but a
boob. Sing the song, Leslie. Okay. Sing it.
Sometimes all I feel like is a boob. Sometimes all I feel like is food. Sometimes all I feel like is a boob. I'm food for you, little baby girl.
She sings this to her baby Zion all the time, and it is hilarious. She broke out in song one morning when I was here, and she just started singing it. I'm like, okay, you need to copyright this thing and we need to write this out and make this a real song legit, because how many of you can relate to this? Like, I can relate to it.
That's my job right now. I'm food.
I was saying that when I was nursing, I would tell my husband that I just feel like a human cow. Like, I literally just feel like I have two udders and I'm just a human cow. But I like her version better.
This is the funnest tangent I think we've ever been on.
It's so fun. I hope you're enjoying you too, Mom, because I know you can relate too. So my mom nursed all 4 of us babies too.
Oh yeah. My mom had 4 babies too.
Yay.
It's a generational thing. We have so many babies.
It's amazing. We have so much in common.
We do.
And we have similar personality types. But
we do.
I really do feel like personality types have a lot to do with physical fitness.
Yeah.
And they have a lot to do with whether we actually succeed a lot of times in physical fitness or not, because some personality types are just more diligent.
Yep.
And physical fitness has everything to do with diligence and self-control, willpower, and being able to set your mind on something and follow through with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so many different personality types just don't have that, whereas others, it just comes naturally for them. They put it in their schedule and they go do it.
Yeah, and that's not a natural inclination for part of my personality type. As a 7, it's more spontaneous.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not fun, you don't want to do it. Of course, I have enough 8, wing to have the driven personality, the competition, and really wanting to get in there. Like, I'm not very competitive, actually. I'm not a very competitive person, but I do compete with myself, and I'm very goal oriented.
Right.
So I take that goal orientedness and create something that's going to motivate me. But if it's not fun, right now being sane is fun.
Yes.
And then I have fun on the way to the gym. It's a 20-minute drive for me. I live out in the country, so it's 25 minutes to get to the gym. And so I'm in the car doing my vocal exercises because nobody can hear me.
And that's fun.
It is.
It's fun to let loose and not have to worry about waking up any babies.
It is.
Or tripping out your husband when you don't hit a pitch.
Oh, man.
I know you have amazing singing talents. So.
Oh, thank you. I want to grow, though. When preparedness meets opportunity, that's real. That's the real. It's not luck.
Right?
Because luck is not real.
It's diligence and actually learning a new skill.
It's what God asks us to do. We're supposed to steward our talents. We're supposed to take care of, if he gives us a talent, if we don't steward it, if we don't practice, if we don't cultivate it, then we're not being faithful.
That's true. So talking about being faithful with different talents and skill sets, I want to just kind of touch on a few different areas that are really significant in the area of health, and some things that you've implemented into your life. And I'll share some things that I've implemented into my life to really focus on becoming healthier.
Yes.
And focus on giving ourselves grace.
Yes.
And focus on really just what those specific things are that we've learned that really help our physical body to grow and become healthier, as well as our minds.
Yeah, and sometimes we wait to feel like it. We wait to get our mental state so that we can go be physical. Well, sometimes it's the other way around. You have to just get started, and it's going to really help your mental state to be physical. Because if you don't like what you see in the mirror, and you don't like how you feel, and you're not flexible, and you can't pick up your babies without hurting, or, those kind of things, it's just not good on your psyche.
We were talking about thyroid issues, and there's a lot of women that are suffering with thyroid problems right now.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
And a lot of autoimmune issues, like multiple sclerosis is what I'm facing right now, and it's an autoimmune issue.
Yeah.
And we don't feel like getting up. I have friends with fibromyalgia and their whole body hurts, and they do not feel like getting up out of bed, let alone getting out of their house and going to the gym.
Right.
But physical fitness actually reduces the amount of inflammation in your body.
Right.
And physical fitness helps with so many different areas. And we've talked about it before too, that it helps with your energy levels, because you were complaining about not having enough energy by the end of the day. You have these 2 babies and all of the other many things that you do throughout the day. Yes, you have 2 babies, which we hit on all the time, but you also have a lot of other things that you do throughout the day on top of that. And you just were so tired at the end of the day that you didn't get to enjoy time after the babies were in bed.
Right.
Until you started going to the gym. And then when you don't go to the gym, you feel tired at the end of the day instead of energized. And so often we think, oh my gosh, I'm too tired to do anything. Well, you're too tired to do anything because your body needs to be active. It needs that stimulation. It needs you to get up and not make any excuses and not allow those reasons to be your excuses, but allow those excuses and reasons to propel you forward and become your reason to actually do the thing that you don't want to do.
Right. We do also have to have grace for our season. The first 2-3 months after Zion was born, there was just no way. I was up all hours of the night. I was nursing her all hours of the day. We had to hit some sort of normalcy before I could actually fit that into my day. And so what I would do is just stretch through the day and just get as much in as I could. But I also just had the conversation with my husband and with the Lord. This is just a time of grace, and this is what I want to accomplish, and this is how I'm going to get there. And to start creating an action plan so when I was healthier after having a baby and recovering, I could actually jump in there. And so I started doing some of those basic things that you can do after you have a baby. We were walking our property every day. We would put the babies in the stroller and just walk rounds up the road and around the property and just get our bodies moving. After the baby was born, even if we walked really slowly, we still walked. As soon as I started to feel like I was exerting myself too much, I would go back, and I could tell if I overdid it. But it was really important for us to start moving right away.
Right.
Pump up that worship music. And like, I don't know, people probably think I'm pretty nuts because every once in a while I'm listening to a good worship song. I'm doing a bench press or whatever, and I stand up and I stick my hands in the air and I'm like, forever he is glorified. And people look at me and go, what? Sorry guys, I forgot I was at the gym.
Have you watched people do that?
Like, no, I seriously do that. I don't actually sing it.
Okay. I literally was envisioning you actually like belting it out because maybe you forgot you were at the gym for a second.
I would. I mean, it's not out of character for me.
You should just do it.
I just did it on a podcast.
I know. That's awesome. But you should do it at the gym too. Just saying. Because come on, doing that at the gym, you would totally get people to stop and like think about what the heck did she just say? And it's planting a little seed in them.
It's true.
Because the word of God never returns void. So if you're worshiping, it's still a word of the Lord.
That's what I'm doing while I'm working out. Is I thought about listening to somebody else's podcast while I was on the treadmill. I thought about looking at a training video, and I was like, nope, it's my time with the Lord, and I don't need any more input at this time because I'm going to have plenty throughout the rest of the day. So I have
be active, be physical, strengthen your arms specifically as a woman, because that's what Proverbs 31 tells us to do.
Yeah.
Even if you're not going to go hit cardio all day long.
Yeah.
Strengthen your arms. Right? You need it.
Yep,
we need it. I need it.
It's all about being intentional.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Thank you for being brave, for having your mind and heart open to receive what we've shared.
We pray that it touches you so deeply that you are transformed from the inside out.
If you've loved spending time with us as much as we have with you, we have great news for you.
We have a tribe of other moms just like you that are committed to living life to the fullest and are a source of encouragement, support, and love.
Go to Point of Decision on Facebook now to join our growing tribe.
I'm Dr. Leslie Baylis.
And I'm Jackie Bailey.
We love you.
We're praying for you.
And we are looking forward to spending more time with you on Point of Decision.